Emily, a voice says, it's time for your medication. The world flashes around you. You try to move your arms, but you can't. Someone has restrained them. Are you wearing a straitjacket? A man descends towards you. A doctor? It's hard to say. His face is so dark. The man raises a pill to your mouth, then pushes it past your pursed lips into your tongue. You swallow. What other choice do you have? The world flashes again. You see the outlines of impossible abominations floating in a limitless expanse of tangible madness. They call to you. They bid you to come. Flash! Dr. Joyce walks on the ceiling above your head, blood rag tied around his eyes. He spreads his arms wide, a triumphant smile on his lips. Queen of madness, he exclaims. Conductor of the flesh, arise, Emily Hawkins, and ascend to your appointed lofty heights. I don't care about ruling or ascending, you say, your voice echoing from somewhere far away. I just don't want to feel pain anymore. In that case, there is only one way to kill it, Dr. Joyce says, producing another pill and handing it down to you. Reaching up, you take it and put it in your mouth. Flash! The world is fracturing. A man dressed in white lab coat says, I think we're about to lose her. Flash! You can't think clearly. Solid things are becoming abstract. Your sister floats before you. Then a different one does. They reach for you, but you can't connect to them. Honestly, you don't even want to anymore. Someone told you that you're enough without them. Maybe that's true. Or perhaps there just isn't enough of you left to give to others. Flash! You stand in the asylum's common room as the eyeless apparition drifts across the floor towards you. We must caution you to be careful now, wanderer, it says. You are about to embark down a path from which there is no retreat. If you continue, you will cast off the shackles of your humanity and become something altogether different. You will find survival easier, but you will also lose much of who you have been. Will the sickness go away? You ask. I'm tired of fighting. I want to be numb. This is achievable, the apparition says. If it is what you truly desire, should that be your choice, take this to begin the process. The sickly white entity opens its hand. In its palm is one last pill. Swallowing your fear, you take the capsule in your trembling fingers and pop it into your mouth. The world shatters. You shriek as you feel yourself breaking into pieces. Shards of your soul climb to their feet, eyeing you with looks of anger, hunger, and eerie, crazed joy. Looking at the other parts of yourself, you find laughter gurgling up your throat. You try to stifle it, but you can't, so instead you let it erupt outward in snickers, goughs, and cackles. Greetings, I'm Barrett, and welcome to Meet Me at the Table. Today we're going to be continuing, or I should say concluding, our playthrough of Dawn of Madness. We are viewing Emily Hawkins' story, and boy, has it been absolutely fantastic. We were able to complete the story, and so now we are going into the finale. The finale we are going to be doing is C. There are 4 different finales that you can do, so there are, and that's not even how many endings there are. There are even endings inside of each of the different stories that you go into. So we're going to only see one conclusion, and I shouldn't even say ending. It's going to be a conclusion to her story. Of course, this could alter her whole build and who she is for any other stories that you go into. Even being a extra wanderer in somebody else's story, her entire stats, her character, a lot of the things she can do may change based on how this plays out at the end. As I play through the finale, please turn on your Klingon subtitles. I will be, if there's anything that I missed, I will be putting it down here. Also, if there are errors in any of the previous videos, those aren't going to be corrected, but hopefully you can find them in either pinned comments or Klingon subtitles in those videos. I have been recording this back to back to back to back. I just can't stop. I'm having an absolute fantastic time playing, and I have just been digging this game, and I have been absorbing everything about it. So we're moving into the finale. We're going to set it all up and show you how it goes. Now, of course, some of the setup is going to be universal to the different types of people you are, and some is going to be based on the characters you are. So there is some universal setup, and then there's setup based on what characters you're doing. So let's jump into the finale, and if you're excited to see if Emily Hawkins can make it through her finale with, of course, the help of Linus, then I need you to meet me at the table. High class, roll up. First, let's go over some of the universal steps you have to do. First, we are going to leave all of these dials exactly how they are. They might be used in some of the different ending moments or the finales that we have to do. The other thing we have to do is flip over every one of these cards. These cards were originally on this side. Now they're flipped over to this side. And as you can see, there's different doors. These are going to be based on whichever you have as your final finale that you're doing. For example, this one up here, the West Wing, if you notice, does have this symbol, which is the same symbol as our C token down here. It's the same symbol. So we're going to be able to be using those particular encounters while we play through this particular finale. You're going to keep all of the different augmentation cards, whatever you want to call them, any of these like different statuses. Those cards are all going to remain out there and ready to go. You're still going to keep your mental capacity and go all the way to the top of that. Now, the other things you're going to do is you are going to remove the Abomination and all of its cards. Those are completely gone. You don't need those anymore because technically you've probably beat the Abomination in order to get here. We're also going to remove any of the encounter cards and any of the coda cards that we didn't see during the actual story part of the game. The other thing we're going to remain is all of the tokens that are used for our timer. Those are also going to remain in the fashion that they are. Again, might be used in some of the finales depending on what you have for specific for your character. And very similar to like a refresh phase, we're going to raise any dead wanderers. We're also going to, anybody that is trapped, we're going to discard any of the trap tokens on any of our characters. We don't have any, but if you did, you'd remove those. Also, we put all our mental capacity to max. We refresh the support cards, and wanderers and monsters leave their components as they were in the wanderer stage unless otherwise stated. So if we did have something like Aftershock out here with like 2 damage on, that character would remain on here with 2 damage, and all of our characters are going to remain exactly how they are moving into the finale. Like I said previously, our condition cards, the token pools, the domain deck, and the terror deck are going to remain exactly as they were when we started this, when we moved from the story round to the finale. Emily is tired of fighting. Now all she wants to become numb and cut out the illness she so fears. Things with which the other world is all too happy to assist her. Unfortunately, the cost of these favors is everything that makes her human. The other wanderers must help Emily cling to her humanity, killing her malformations as quickly and efficiently as possible while keeping her away from the finale's encounters. However, that will be no easy task, as Emily will be forced into them every time someone attacks her malformations, whether they fail or succeed. Passivism won't save her either. If she hasn't entered an encounter in a round, she'll be drawn into one at its end. If Emily completes all the encounters, she will no longer be human. Instead, she'll be an abomination of pure madness. Can the other wanderers save her in time? For the special setups for ending C, we're going to take out Emily's 3 malformation cards and place them beside the game board. Roll the otherworldly die for each of Emily's malformations and spawn them on the matching world shards. If a wanderer or another of Emily's malformations is already there, re-roll the die. If one or more of Emily's malformations is already in the game board from the wanderer's stage, remove it and respawn it as if it had just appeared. So we don't have to worry about the respawning thing. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to place red consequence tokens on the following world shards. And they're listed there. I'm not going to read them all. All you have to know is not to place one on the attic. And I'll show that off again once we look at the board. I'm going to quickly go over the special rules. There are quite a few of them. The first one is that all the malformations are going to get 3 extra health for themselves. And in order to take out the malformations, I have to kill them in their order. So I have to start with the level 1, then go to level 2 and level 3. Emily's higher level malformations cannot even take any wounds for any reason if a lower level malformation has not been removed from the board. Emily's malformations can only receive damage and take wounds from Wanderer's attack actions, so nothing else can actually damage them if you have any tricks up your sleeve. Wanderers won't receive any existence rewards for killing them, so no shards. Emily's malformation domain rift abilities always take effect. So some of the abilities will say, like, if it has a brain domain, it gets this extra bonus. Those are always going to be active on the cards no matter what the rifts they have. Each time a wanderer attacks one of Emily's malformations after fully resolving the attack action, and regardless of if the malformation takes wounds, transport Emily directly to the nearest world shard with red consequence token. She'll immediately enter the finale encounter printed on that world shard. The encounters in the finale are only accessible by Emily herself. If there is a void token on the west wing, it won't prevent Emily from entering the encounter. At the end of the action phase, if Emily hasn't entered an encounter this round, transport her directly to the nearest world shard with a red consequence token and have her enter the final encounter printed on that world shard. When there are no red consequence tokens left on the game board, place a red consequence token on the attic. So remember when we were looking at the special setup, it said not to place one on the attic. When non-Emily Wanderers die, they remain dead for the rest of the finale. And if all three of Emily's malformations are killed, we go to 223. The finale then immediately ends. When Emily dies, place a red consequence token on the attic and go to entry 270. The finale then immediately ends. There is one final thing. It says spawn one patient terror. Following this order, aftershock, hysteria, and lobotomy. We'll repeat this as necessary. If you have to spawn one that's already on the board, it will activate them without spending any of their mental capacity. Then spawn a random terror from the terror deck on a different world shard. So we have to keep these guys off the board as well. Otherwise, we'll have even more troubles. Not only do we have the 3 malformations, we also are going to have these spawning every round. Here's just a little bit of the board to show you. These are the red tokens. You may have saw them while I was talking about the universal setup, but these tokens will remain out there. And if you noticed, all the different world shards that have the specific ones we can enter are the ones that have them. This one, of course, doesn't have one because it doesn't have one of the purple doors that we could go through. So I think that's kind of interesting that all the purple doored ones that go for this particular ending or finale have the tokens on them. I'm kind of excited to do this. This is pretty awesome. This came in this direction because we never saw any of the malformations while we played through the game. So the first one we have is Onset of Darkness. Here's the first one. It says no wanderer in her space. Onset moves up to 2 spaces toward the nearest wanderer, costing 2. It starts with 6. If a wanderer is in her space, Onset deals 3 blue damage to the wanderer in her space. We got to get rid of this one fast. I'm horrible at blue. Each wanderer in a world shard with a blue sentience then loses 1 mental capacity. So it's going to drain our mental capacity. There is a passive down here that says flip Emily's existence cards, Palliative Care and Soothing Murmur to the backside. I am not allowed to use those. So we'll take both of those particular cards and we'll flip them. We'll put them on to the side so we cannot use those while this is on the board. This, of course, is going to be target 1. Because remember, we can't do any damage to 2 or 3 until that one's off the board. This is a whole bunch of stuff. First off, treatment cards, positive effects are ignored. I don't have any treatment cards at the moment, which I guess is good. This one will move towards the Wanderer in Mania's space to gain a random physical treatment card. If chosen wanderer already has one, then that wanderer receives 3 red damage instead. Limit once per round, a wanderer has a treatment card. Mania deals 2 yellow damage to each wanderer with a treatment card. Each wanderer, barf. No wanderer in her space. Mania moves 1 towards the nearest wanderer. It'll move up to 2 spaces if it has a skull, but remember, no matter what I get for the rifts, they are going to automatically be able to activate those. All right, that's number 2, and then 3 is probably going to, these just get progressively worse, I'm sure. This last one here is a passive. After restoring damage, a wanderer receives the same amount of red damage as it was just restored. That's sweetness. A wanderer in her space, she'll instantly kill the wanderer in her space. Oh my gosh, are you kidding me? Why did it instantly kill the wanderer? That's no good. How are we going to deal with this? A wanderer is on a world shard with a red sentience. Queen moves directly onto the nearest matching world shard containing a wanderer and deals 5 damage to the wanderer there. Then the wanderer also loses 2 mental capacity. A wanderer in her space. Queen instantly kills a wanderer in her space. Okay, so we have to make sure that, okay, so I see, ugh, this thing's terrible. No wanderer in her space. She moves 1 space toward the nearest wanderer. If she can end in a wanderer's space, each wanderer loses 1 damage, move to 2 spaces instead. That's out of control. All right. So the thing is though, she has to have at least 2 mental capacity in order to activate that top part. And it costs her 4 to do this one and 2 to move. So if she moves 2 and then activates her 4 in the space somebody is, that top part isn't going to fire off till next round. Then of course we have Patient Aftershock, which you already know about. He's just Bad News City. We are going to place him out on the board. Which one's he? Is he this guy? He's this guy right here. We'll put him out on the board. Now we have to roll randomly to see where all these are going to be placed. We'll start by rolling on Aftershock here. Aftershock is going to go into number 12. which is going to be, if I can find it, right here, the west wing. That's where he is. Okay, the onset of darkness, that is the first malformation, is going to be in 12 as well. We'll put that one right here. Now, it didn't say I couldn't place them in the same place an enemy is or another terror. I just can't place the malformations in the same spot. We'll roll again. We got 11 for number 2. 11, hopefully it's a long ways away. The morgue, that's not very far away. It's right there. Then the last one is going to be the Queen of Death. It's going to go into 6. This could be over real quick. This might be the shortest video I've ever done. 6 is going to be the Salem hallway up there at the top. All right, now that we've got all our enemies placed, we do have to roll for the sentience that they have to find out what rifts we can attack them through. We'll roll up the rifts to see what we can hit them with. Onset is on a double green yellow card, so she's going to have an eye, a hand, and a yellow skull for the rifts we can attack her through. So we'll place these dice up there so I can remember which ones those are. The next one we have is Violent Mania. Violent Mania is sitting on a yellow, green, and purple one. Let's see which ones we are going for in that particular aspect. A wild, a green skull, and a purple brain. We'll place those dice up next to that character so I can remember them. Lastly, we have the Queen of Madness. She is on a yellow, purple, and green one. Oh, whoops, I rolled the wrong dice. The second one is actually on a yellow, green, and blue one in the morgue. So this is the one for that one. Okay, we'll go put these up next to our level 2 malformation, Violent Mania, and then Queen of Madness here is the one that's going to get these. The double eye and a hand one. So we'll place these 3 dice up next to her and we'll deal with them. We'll put all the shards out there. After placing out the rifts, I do want to mention I'm not going to be putting damage onto these malformations. We're going to be taking it off because they do actually have 3 more than they're supposed to. This one's supposed to normally start with 6, but we have 9 on there because they're supposed to have 3 more than they normally do. This one has 10 and this one has 11. Now, of course, we still have to roll for Aftershock. Aftershock is in the same place, the west wing. So Aftershock is going to get a yellow and 2 greens. We have a skull, a brain, and a wild. So we'll place those on this shard here, or these card here. Now, I really think I need to work on these. I might actually forego these particular enemies for now and really focus on these malformations. If I don't get that one's just going to be bonkers. If it lands on your square, it has that 2 on it, you're dead. Wow, that's unbelievable. The first thing we're going to do is like we always do, I'm going to grab our 2 dice. This one's going to be purple, that one's going to be green. I'm going to be able to gain a domain of based on one of our faith tokens here. I have a purple and a green. I got an eye and a purple wild. That was actually perfect. So put the purple wild there and the green eye here. It actually helps quite a bit. That's actually a really good roll. I can only use this once per round, so I'm just going to flip that and say that we've used that card. I don't think there's anything else I can use for him. Now I can spend up to 3 shards to, instead of mental capacity for him going forward. Maybe it might help out in this round. That might help quite a bit. Now she's got a ton of shards over here I really can't do anything with, but that's okay. All right, this might not be the smartest plan, but we're going to give it a shot. It's my plan. We'll see how it goes here. I'm going to spend all 3 of my shards. Those 3 shards I have, I'm just going to spend them right now. And what we're going to do is use them to use actions. The first one I'm going to do is move over to here. Second one I'm going to do is I'm going to do a domain action and grab a yellow and 2 green domains. Let's see what we got. 2 eyeballs and a yellow skull. That's probably actually fantastic. Those 2 actions cost me 2 of my shards. I'm going to spend my last shard and 1 mental capacity to allow myself to attack that first malformation going through the green eye. Sadly, I can't kill it in one shot. I've only got 4 dice. We'll see how we can do with this. We got 2 more damage. I am going to spend all 4 of those green eyes. 1, 2, 3, 4 to do 4, 5, 6 damage to it, leaving it with only 3 left. Actually, I'm not. I'm going to save some of the eyes. I'm going to keep 2 green eyes. I'm only going to spend 2 of them because our third malformation has green eyes as well. So 1, 2, 3, 4 damage to this, leaving it with 5. Now that I've attacked the malformation, that means that I do have to enter a story moment. So we are going to enter the Bile Within, number 55. You ascend the seemingly endless spiral stairway, curious about what you'll find atop it. Is it even reachable? Could this thing wind on forever? At last, its seemingly solid sheet of obsidian tar answers your question. The stairwell presses into the slick mass not far off above you, disappearing from view and ending your ascent. The black surface glistens wetly overhead as you prod it with one finger, giggling nervously. The dark stuff swirls around your digits, sucking at you slothfully. Then the ceiling begins to drip. Run! The enormous baby doll face murmurs from the nooks along the wall. I need to run. Don't stop, just go, before the black bile gobbles me up. The ceiling drops a hand's length, causing you to flinch. Then it slides downward again. Finally, your eyes growing wide, you turn and follow the doll head's advice. Run from the black bile ceiling. Test green and red for hands. If you fail, lose 1 mental capacity. Oh boy, that can almost end the game. Lucky for me, I do have a red hand, so we're going to use that domain. That's laying sideways. That's pretty funny. I do get to roll 4 green dice. I got plenty of hands. I got a wild 2 hands, so we didn't lose any mental capacity. Sweat breaks out all over your body as you race back down the stairway. The sucking black slime cascading downward behind you. The sticky substance drools down into your hair and stains your clothes. Is it sticking through your skin? It is impossible to forget your face, even when I think I finally have, the doll face whispers. But really, how could I? And I see you every time I look in the mirror. They say you're the crazy one, but we're called identical twins for a reason. Tears cloud your eyes, causing you to stumble and roll down another curve in the stairs. Jumping back up to your feet, you return to your sprint, trying to ignore the new pain in your leg. You can taste pungent, humid air lying thick on your tongue. I have to muster all my strength to keep going. Test green for, oh my gosh, I have red brain. This is ridiculous. It's always red. I don't have any red. Test green for hands and red for brains. We'll roll our green dice, hope we can get a green hand here. We got a wild, so we got what we needed for the green. Now the problem is I don't have any red brains. I don't have any red dice to roll. I'm actually going to discard this card. This is going to give us a red brain, and we'll remove this from the game. I'm going to discard it to use it for its domains that it has on the bottom. We share everything, don't we? The doll head murmurs. Blood, memory, sadness, sickness. I try to maintain appearance, but we both know I'm just as broken as you are. That static's in my head just like it's in yours, no matter how I try to suppress it. I was deluding myself to think I could escape it. You screech to a halt as the black bile rises up the stairs below you. Too, your heart seizes in your chest. There must still be some way out of here, doesn't there? Find some other way to escape. I need to test purple and green, both for eyes and brains. I just don't want to lose that mental capacity, or all those malformations are going to activate before I can activate her. We'll roll our 4 green, and then we'll roll our 5 purple and see how we do. I need to get a green brain and a purple eye. So it looks like we're just fine. And if I would have made a mistake and it was purple brains and green eyes, I'm just fine. I also just can't remember which one I'm supposed to get. But we're good no matter what we have here. I'm just happy it wasn't red. Whipping your head to the left, you focus on the TVs, the doll heads embedded on the curved walls. Striding over to the television set, you wrench it free from the surface. Then, letting out a desperate howl, you smash it into the doll's cracked face. The porcelain surface shatters, revealing an opening behind it. Casting aside the broken television, you lunge through the revealed tunnel. You crawl forward frantically, a distant, weak light serving as your single hope. At last, you reach the chamber. A flickering glow emanates from the climb to your feet. Where's the light source? How do you get out of here? The wall of TVs flicker to life before you, each screen filled with white static. You stop breathing as you see the viscous darkness dripping from the walls and ceiling. You can't escape what's already in you, a voice whispers. Tears streak your cheeks, and you reach up to wipe them away. Looking at your hand, you see your crying liquid as black as oil. Black bile cascades through the passage, floods in from the sides, and pours down from above. You never stood a chance. How could you have ever believed otherwise? Remove the red consequence token from the Abyssal Maw, place the void token on the Abyssal Maw, and return to the game. Okay, we'll place a void token on the Abyssal Maw. This is a new token we haven't experienced yet. What the void token is going to do is I am no longer allowed to do any story moments there. I don't know why I'd want to do a story moment over here. Also on top of that, I cannot do search or domain actions in a place with a void token, so I can't use these sentients anymore, and I also can't get any cards. Linus and Emily are on the same mental capacity space, but I'm going to go with Emily. Emily's going to use this to move one space for free. So we're going to move over to here. I, again, need to take her out as fast as I can. So we're going to attempt to attack her. But before we do, I can spend a domain of any sentience to restore 1 health or 1 mental capacity. I'm going to restore 1 mental capacity. I can only do this once per round. So Emily's going to go to 8, but I do have to spend a skull in order to do that. I'm going to spend one of my purple skulls. I've got 2 of them, so we're going to spend one of those to do that. I've gained back 1 of my mental capacities. At this point now, I'm going to attack her, but I'm going to use one of my cards. I'm going to use one of the cards we have to attack so that I don't have to spend any of my mental capacity, hopefully taking her down. And then both these characters have to get out of here before that thing moves down and attacks them. I'm going to attack through the yellow skull, meaning I get to roll 6 dice against this. Let's see how well we do. I've got 1, 2, 3, and I get to roll 3 more. So we've done 3 damage so far, 3, and then we've got 4, 5, and I've got 1 skull right here is 6. Do we even need to do 6? Nope, we only need to do 5. She only had 5 left, so that's enough to damage to kill her off. Our onset of darkness has been removed from the board. So good news, she is off the board before she can even activate, which is exactly what we need to do. Now the bad news is when you damage Malformation, you have to do the story moment that is closest to your character, which happens to be in the West Wing. So we're going to go to Purging the Weakness 143. Purging the Weakness. You step up to the double doors leading into the West Wing, unsure what you'll find. Cautiously, you wrap your hands around the door handles and pull. Slowly, unhappily, the entrance swings wide. If there's a void token on the West Ring, go to entry 89. There is not. So the other part is that you're going to go to number 48. So that is where we'll go. Black ichor seethes across the walls as you enter the West Wing. Patients shamble aimlessly down the passageway before you, their bodies trembling and twitching as they wander amidst the dark effluence. They all wear cracked baby doll masks and facades, empty eye holes revealing the lingering pools of oblivion hidden below them. Tentatively, you step into the cracked, slimy floor, watching your step as the broken ground heaves upward and dips down in fractured chunks. It doesn't take long for the patients to notice your intrusion. Swiveling towards you, they begin staggering in your direction. Feeling nervous, you swivel in to avoid the patients, trying to press deeper into the West Wing. As they tighten their distance between you, though, you quickly realize the avoidance might not be possible. To avoid the mass patients, test green for hands and purple for eyes. If you succeed, go to 123. Fail, lose mental capacity. At least I gave myself a little bit extra this time. We'll roll some green and purple dice and see how it all turns out. We need green hands and purple eyes. We're doing just fine. You press past the first few patients, but more and more of them descend upon you, black ichor weeping from their masks' eye sockets, their gnarled clawed fingers reaching for you, tattered remains of their straitjackets dangling from their arms. Emily, they murmur, their voices little more than harsh whispers. Emily, join us, join your family. No, you say. No, I'm nothing like you. You thrash against the patients as they close around you, beating your fists against their bodies. You drive them back. Then your fingers bent like claws. You swipe at their faces, catching the mask's edge, and dislodge it, send it sailing across the corridor. You gasp. The patient mask was the only face it had. Below the facade lies nothing but swirling black void. Just like us, the patient intone. Just like us. Fight your way through the patients. Test red for hands and purple for hands. If you succeed, go to 153. If you fail, lose a mental capacity and go to entry 89. We are going to fail this. I cannot roll any red dice, and I do not have any red hand domains, nor do I have any items I can remove to allow myself to gain those red hand domains unless I want to lose Mr. Whiskers, I think is his name, the bunny. And I don't want to lose the bunny because the bunny is sweetness. So we're just going to fail this, lose a mental capacity, which I got from the bunny in the first place, and we're going to go to entry 89. The doors swing open, and you momentarily startled by what you see. Ah, Mrs. Hawkinson, Dr. Thruston exclaims, a sunny grin splitting his face. How good to see you here. I was beginning to wonder if you got lost. I've finished all the preparations, and your room is ready again for you. I don't understand, you reply. There is no west wing. You said so yourself. Dr. Thruston cocks his head to the side. Did I now? And when was this, my dear? What made you think I would say such a thing? I don't know, you say, shaking your head. It's all so confusing. Of course, Dr. Thruston replies, placing his hand on your shoulder. Nothing a little rest in your own bed won't clear up, I'm sure. This way. Thruston leads you down the corridor, his hand gently pressing on the small of your back. You know, I'm very proud of you, Emily, he says. You've made so much progress. I have a feeling you're very, very close to unlocking your full potential. Glancing back at him, you notice black static filling the corridor behind you, swelling around you and obscuring Thruston. What do you want from me, Dr. Thruston? You ask. You know precisely what I want, Dr. Thruston replies, static ravaging his voice. I want you to become your true self, and frankly, I think you've nearly achieved that goal. Remove the red consequence token from the west ring and return to the game. We'll remove this consequence token. That's good, I guess. Also, I forgot that I do have my fresh scalpel, and having killed a malformation, I am going to, or not, malformation, I do get to gain a mental capacity back, so I'm at 2 with her. Because I used a card to make that attack action, I'm going to use this. You may perform a move action, moving up to 3 spaces for free on your activation. So I'm going to do that. We're going to move to the next one. We're going to try to take out Void Mania. Hopefully we can do enough damage that we can maybe take this out in hopefully a couple attacks. That's my goal here. With Emily, I'm going to make an attack action using that card, and we're going to go through the Yellow Wild. Emily has 6 yellow dice that she can roll. She got 2, and I get to roll 2 more. Let's see how many damage we do here. We did a total of 2. I'll take 2. She is down to 8. That was a tough one to roll because it's only on one face of the die. And now since I did damage, I have to go to the story moment, Suicidal Tendencies. I wonder if Mike Murr is still singing for that band. Try to keep from cutting yourself. Test red for wild. If you fail, lose 1 health. Repeat the test until you succeed or die. All right, we got to stop here and try to figure out how we can deal with this. First thing we have to do is roll 3 blue for a wild. I did not get it, but like I said, I do have 1 blue wild domain. So we're going to use that. Now we have a problem. Here's my dilemma. It's actually kind of funny. So I have to repeat this test over and over again, losing 1 health every time until I get a red wild. I don't have any red dice. I cannot roll a red die. The only way to pass this test is to get rid of my stuffed rabbit. It has the red wild. Nothing else has a red wild on my card here, and I don't have any way of rolling a dice. All of these shards, all this health I have 9 health and like 463 shards here. I would have lost the game because without this card in my possession. I have no other way, unless, oh, I forgot about this one. Nope, that's all blue eyeballs. The only reason it's flipped over, it reminds me that I've used that for movement. So this is super scary. I need to get some red domains, I think, because if this red domains keep coming up like that, there's a chance I could lose this game. All right, I have to get rid of the stuffed rabbit, otherwise I lose the game. And I don't want to lose the game, so get rid of the stuffed rabbit. All right, we'll put the completed token on the morgue, and I've also put 1 up on the hidden place there. All right, at that point, I am now going to make an attack against this thing again. And that will cost me 2 mental capacity, dropping me down. I'm going to get rid of this token. We've gotten rid of 1 of our malformations. We're going to attack through our purple skull here, or sorry, blue skull, and see how this goes. I got 2, that's really good, and I've got 1. So that's going to do 3 damage, knocking her down to 5 health. Having damaged the malformation, I am going to have to move towards the closest token here and deal with that encounter. So we are going to the Transcending Hunger 161. The Transcending Hunger. You feel the chair's cold, hard surface beneath you, and you know you're sitting down. Regardless, that doesn't change what you're seeing, or the feeling of the sickly warm wind roaring against your face. It's like you've left the asylum and entered another dimension altogether, perhaps. Perhaps this is the real world, and the facility has always been an illusion. The eldritch beings flirt in and out of view, seemingly at random. They steal across your vision just long enough to overwhelm you with feelings of madness and terror before darting away again, leaving you wondering if you made it all up. You sense the creatures separating and regurgitating, fusing into other stronger, stranger entities. You know the more powerful ones are absorbing the weaker, the hungrier devouring the more passive. What's more, you realize they are extending an invitation for you to join them, to become something more and less than you are. The beings offer freedom from pain, terror, guilt, and shame, from morality itself. All they ask for in return is your humanity. You feel the eyeless apparitions manifest behind you, recognizing its skeletal fingers as they descend on your shoulder. You feel its fetid breath on your ear as it bends down, its lipless mouth hovering beside your face. After this, you will be free. There will be no more suffering, no more pain, no more memories or love. You will move beyond such things. To other limited beings, you will become a monster, an abomination. But such is the case whenever prey encounters an apex predator. You will survive, they will perish, and there is perhaps no more fitting frustration than that. I don't know that I'm ready to forget all I am, you murmur. There's been good too, as well as bad. I felt love and sorrow. Love is always laced with sorrow in the end, the being says. It is the nature of finite things, but to transcend the finite, you must give up its limiting beliefs and embrace the hunger. It is the only way to be free. There is no true death in a place like this. For one such as us, there is only different states of being in this eternal consuming conscious oblivion. Nodding, you stand to your feet in the spectral abyss. As you do, you see the mammoth dread eye approach, its width and breadth spanning as far as you can see. Its lashes bend inward like monstrous teeth, orange lighting arcing across the endless blackness of its sclera. I want to be cured, you say. I want to be free. Very well, the eyeless apparition says, coming alongside you and clasping your shoulder. Then together you propel yourself into the gargantuan eye's burning white pupil, ringed around by its raging iris of transcendent galaxies. Remove the red consequence token from the chair, place a void token on the chair, and return to the game. Well, that did not sound good. We'll put a void token there, and that definitely seemed like a good way to go. At this point, I'm going to use a card to move. We're going to use this one that also allows me to search. We're going to get rid of that card, and we're going to move 1, 2 right into the morgue. I have a plan. Is it good? We'll find out. Now what I'm going to do is use my brain domains to be able to activate some of my powers. What I'm going to do is spend 2 red brain domains. This is going to allow me to make an attack action, and I can use these to pay for it through mental capacity. I'm using them because I don't think he's going to be going into any encounters, and there's nothing out there that has a red rift to be attacking through, so using my red for him is a good idea. Giving red to Emily would probably be a better idea, but I just can't give domains. We're going to use that to make our attack action without paying any of our mental capacity. We're going to attack through its blue skull. Nope, I lied. We're going to attack through the purple hand. The reason why is I'm going to turn both of these into purple skulls. This one I'm also going to turn into a purple skull, giving Linus 3 more purple dice to roll for those purple hands. That'll be fantastic. He'll be rolling a total of 7 dice for this. We'll roll these up. We need to get those hand symbols. Well, we got 2 wilds. I'll take that. Now I get to roll 3 more dice. So we're going to take these 2, roll them again. So far we're at 2 damage, 3 damage, 4 damage. And I can roll 1 more dice, 4 damage. Come on, I need 1 more, 5 damage. Yes. Okay, that was exactly what I needed. Oh, that was a roll and a half. Don't ever think I'll get a roll like that again. I did 5 damage. That thing is dead. Oh my gosh. I was all set. I had an extra one here I was going to use. And I was even planning to use this because I had a wild domain on this. I was going to use that. I was all set to just throw everything into this roll, but I didn't have to. We got 5 damage alone with just the dice. Good news, that pulls our second malformation off the board. Bad news, she has to go to the closest red space here. So from where we are in the chair, this is 1, 2, 3 spaces. The other one I could have gone to is 1, 2, 3. Oh, the in-between. And the in-between is so much farther away. We're totally going to go to the in-between. The in-between is 1, 2, 3 spaces away as well. So hopefully this isn't a bad one. We're going to go to mirrors and shadows. You sit on a sofa in the skirrized, listening to the wind and rain clash outside the otherwise eerily silent house. Looking up, you're surprised to see the mirrors hanging on the walls begin to move. They slither over the floral wallpaper, multiplying as they judder and shiver. You frown briefly, perplexed. Then, standing, you step over to examine one of them. Its surface reflects a strange woman. Is she you? No, surely not. She's too hard, too inhuman. Gathering your courage, you reach out with one finger to touch the cold glass. As your fingertip presses against it, though, every mirror in the room erupts, shattering into hundreds of pieces. You gasp, instinctively jerking back, but the shards just hang in the air as if suspended in time and space. Staring in bewilderment at the jagged fragments, you discover that each reflects a different person. Shadows soak the people's faces, concealing their identities. Even still, you can tell they're all staring at you. Who are you? You murmur. Are you patients? Are you parents? Are you sisters? Are you me? The shard people move closer to the mirror's surface. Their hands shoot out of the fragments, reaching for you. You cry out in alarm as you thrash away from the groping fingers. Then, grabbing 2 smaller glass slivers out of the air, you slash at the digits, sending several tumbling to the floor. The shadow people inside the shattered pieces grip the sides of the glass and begin to push, stretching the surface enough so that they can climb through into the room with you. Landing on the carpet with a thump, they straighten and swivel toward you. Blood seeps from your palms and fingers as you grip the sharp shards tighter. Defend yourself against the shadow people. Test red for hands and purple for hands. If you fail, lose 1 health and 1 mental capacity. I'm going to lose 1 health and 1 mental capacity. Remember, we have absolutely no way to get red. We must find a shard that has red. Then we must do a domain action on it because that is just killing me. So we're just going to straight up fail. I'm going to lose but 1 of each of those. It says here now, letting out a feral scream, you attack the shadow people, sinking your makeshift weapons into their strange flesh. They collapse to the ground in heaps, though you notice that the copious amounts of blood spraying across the room comes from your hands rather than them. Throbbing crimson tints the air. Something rises behind you. Whirling around, you're just in time to see a mirror, reassembled and grown to enormous size, swallow you whole. The blackness engulfs you, traps you. Spinning around, you hammer on the back of the glass. You can't get out. The pain won't budge. All you can do is watch in perplexed detachment as a strange woman viciously slaughters shadow people on the mirror's opposite side. We'll remove a red consequence token from the in-between and place the void token on the in-between and return to the game. Placing another void token down right there. I also have to move my counter down 1. Emily has to take 1 damage from that attack, so we're just going to lose a shard. We have 1,000,000 of those. I can always take shards off as damage. I am going to then spend 2 mental capacity for Lioness to move to the west wing. At this point, now our third malformation is going to activate. I feel kind of bad. I'm not letting you see what some of these malformations do. I guess you have to play it on your own to find out what they do when they actually start moving around the board and having a ton of fun. I have actually just been slaughtering them. This one, though, on the other hand, the Queen of Madness, a wanderer in her space, queen instantly kills a wanderer in her space. There is not a wanderer in her space, thank goodness. So the next one is a wanderer in a world shard with a red sentience. Emily is in a world shard with a red sentience. So the queen is going to move directly to the nearest matching world shard containing a wanderer and deal 5 damage to the wanderer there. Then that wanderer also is going to lose 2 mental capacity. That's brutal, but it costs her 4 mental capacity to do it. She will teleport down to Emily's square. Emily's going to take 5 damage. I don't have any red to be able to block that, so I'm just going to take it in shards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 shards gone. I'm going to drop this down 1, 2, 3, 4, and I'm going to drop Emily down 1, 2. At that point now it goes back to Linus's turn. And from where he is going to use a domain card. He's going to be able to gain some domains from this card. I can use those cards to do it. Remember, he's already done one this turn, so he can't do one himself, but he can use the card. Let's move our character over so we can get some things here. We got an eyeball, a brain, and a yellow skull. And now what I'm going to do is I am going to use him to move 2 spaces. 1, 2 to right there. I know it sounds weird, but I have a plan again. I have a plan. This is going to activate Aftershock. Let's see. Aftershock is going to go after the person with the most hands. That's in the closest one. That's him. They both have 1 hand domain, so it's going to go after him. It's going to do 2 red damage to the wanderer with the most hands, and if it had any hands in its rifts, it would do extra damage. It does not, so I'm just going to have to block 2 damage from Aftershock. I don't think I've shown our stats for a while. Linus is rolling 3 red dice, 4 green dice, 2 yellows, 1 blue, and 4 purple. So roll up our 3 red dice, and we got 2 wilds and a red skull, which means we'll be taking no damage. That did cost Aftershock all of its energy, 2 to move into that location, and then it told me to reference the action below, which is another 2, so it goes down to 0. At this point, our characters are together exactly where I want them to be on the track. I'm going to attack the malformation here with Emily for 2 mental capacity using the yellow eye rift. Emily normally rolls 6 yellow dice, but I'm going to add 3 with this domain over here. Linus is going to spend his 3 yellow skull domains to give 3 more dice to Emily to roll. So that's 9 dice looking for eyeballs. I get 9 dice. That's pretty good. Let's see how we do here. I got 1 hit so far. We'll roll these 3 again. So we've done 4, 5, 6, 7 dice. Here's 8, so we got an 8 with 4 damage, so we go to roll 1 more here. 8, and then 1 more roll comes on in, 8. We did 4 damage to this guy. That puts the third malformation at 7 health, and we can now attack either through the green or purple rift. But before we do that, she gets teleported up to the treatment center, and we have to read Trimming the Infection. All right, we'll place this right here and remove that token. Now what I'm going to do is I am going to move 1 with Linus down to the administrative office using his green brain domain. It's allowing me to pay for us with green. It uses green to move is what I should say from the brain domain, which is pretty awesome. At this point, I am going to do a domain action here, I think. I'm going to use the domain card to do the domain action. So I'm going to be rolling a green, red, yellow, and blue. I guess I could have done it up here as well, but that's okay. We'll do a green, blue, and yellow. Actually, no, I think it's better to do it up here. I'm going to do it before I move. I'm going to use the domain card up there to grab a green, blue, and purple sentience die and roll them up, because these are going to be better. I got a wild and 2 brain. From where I am here, I'm going to spend 3, 1, 2, 3 to make an attack right here against the third malformation. And with all the green eyes I have, we are going to actually be going straight at that green eye rift that she has. Before I roll the dice, I am going to use my green skull rift from Emily, giving him an extra green die to roll for this particular attack. Linus normally rolls 4 green dice. We're going to roll 5, and we got, oh my goodness, that's what we call a dead guy. We win the game. Oh my gosh, we won the game because of that roll. Wow, look at that roll. That's out of control. Oh my gosh, that's amazing. All right, so we need to hit the rift. We got four wilds. That's 4 damage. She's down to 3 health because she only had, what, 5, 6, 7, and we did 4, and I get to roll 1 more die. Why not? Let's roll that in too. We got another eye, so we did 5 damage. It's down to almost nothing. And I've got like 3 more eye domains I can use to attack with, and I've got a wild green domain. I had so much going on here. I really thought I could do it, but that 4 wilds with that roll. Oh my gosh, that's unbelievable. All right, we were victorious. Oh my gosh, we totally took this down. Now I have to admit, I think we got very strong, and I think that really helped us out. Just looking at our characters, I think we built up some really strong characters. The domains are super important. I can't stress enough how much that helped us. Our cards are great. This card was amazing. This card was also amazing. They're both amazing. Super good cards. These domain cards are also good because not only do you get the abilities you have, like I didn't really even need this card, but I was waiting to maybe use it as a domain action down, use the domains on the cards. Super good. That was absolutely an epic extravaganza. Oh my gosh, and what a great roll at the end. I only had the asylum basement left that I could have gone into, but the book does say that after they're all removed, I put one on the attic, so I technically I think I had 2 more attacks against her, but wow, we didn't need them. We did so good against her. Oh my gosh, that was so good. Okay, let's read the finale, and then wow, that was absolutely amazing. This game is super cool. The Hollow-Faced Woman. At last you've returned. Ascending the whimpering staircase, you come to the attic door. Pushing it open, you step inside the drafty space. A girl kneels in the middle of the room, her back facing you. Her arms run red from dozens of thin cuts, while a noose encircles her neck, its rope running up over a joist in the ceiling. The young woman struggles to stand to her feet, moaning in a deep guttural voice, from an unbearable pain afflicting her body, mind, and soul. Looking down, you find that a scalpel has appeared in your right hand. It glistens even in the poor light, gleaming as if it just emerged from its packaging. How out of place it seems in this dingy, dusty attic. You find your hand tightening reflexively around its cold steel hilt. You slowly walk toward the girl, her limbs shaking. She turns on all fours to face you. Her face is nothing more than a black pit into oblivion. "Who am I?" she asks, her voice strangely airy, as if it wafts out of the abyss within her hollowed skull. "Do you remember? Because I certainly cannot. All I can focus on is the static, the loud, burning static." You hear it then, too. It rakes across your mind. It burns in your ears. You see it as well. The living static presses in around the room's sides, throbbing with eldritch energy. It presses against you, trying to worm its way into your skull. "I'm sorry," you say, letting the scalpel clatter to the attic floor. You stagger out of the attic, the howl-faced woman's moan echoing down the stairwell behind you, haunting you forevermore. The Wanderer Emily gains the final legacy card, Treated Darkness. If Emily has another finale legacy card in her possession, replace it with this one and return the original card to the forgotten envelope. And it says at the bottom, End of game. The patient sits alone in her room, staring blankly through the wire-reinforced window. Scars zigzag haphazardly across her body as longing tightens her jaw and regret darkens her eyes. Perhaps things would have turned out differently if she had broken fear's stranglehold or hadn't been so eager to cut out her pain. Maybe they'd even both still be alive. Poor Elizabeth. The door to the patient's room shudders as it opens. "Come on," the orderly says. "It's time for your treatment." Sighing, the patient stands and shuffles toward the corridor. That ending is now going to change a lot of how Emily is going to act in any of the other ones you play, and you can even come back to this one and play differently. This one now has a Treated Darkness for Emily Hawkins. She now has +4 to her green, -1 to blue, red, and yellow. So when you start up, you're not going to start with these values anymore. Instead, you're going to start with 6 green, but you're going to start with 2 yellow, no red, one blue. I mean, so it's kind of good. Then on top of, well, I don't know, I'd like to have a diversity as opposed to a whole bunch in one spot. But actually having a whole bunch in one spot did actually help quite a bit. Being able to roll all those yellows all those times helps so much in this game. Replace your starting domain card nurse's uniform with straight jacket. If straight jacket hasn't been unlocked, unlock it now. So now when we go into any games coming forward, you know how you normally start with your nurse's uniform. Wait, where is it? The nurse's uniform. It's here somewhere. The one that allows you to do extra damage to the enemies and things of that nature. You now are going to be, oh, it's right, I had to discard it. You have now the straight jacket. When taking damage from a patient, terror reduced the damage by 1. You may spend brain domains as hand domains in the same sentience. Now remember, our nurse's uniform kind of did a little bit different. When attacking patient, I do an additional damage, but I may spend hand domains as brain domains instead of brain domains as hand domains. So it's pretty awesome because now I'm switching roles. I'm no longer the nurse, now I am a patient inside this facility. I think that's really, really cool. And there you have it. Emily was able to, she was able to experience one of her endings. We made it all the way through the finale. That was super cool. I'm a big fan of this game. There are 4 endings in this book, and of course, each of the other books probably have 4 endings as well. I have not dug into them. Emily is the only character I have played so far, and I'm really looking forward to playing some of the other characters. I might bring this back during October when it's kind of like the Halloween-y type time of the year, and maybe go through another one of these characters. Maybe I'll have people vote on who they want to see in a future video. Now, if you're interested in seeing more Dawn of Madness, I know Mike over at the One Stop Co-op Shop, he is doing a video on Dawn of Madness and a playthrough, so please go check that out. I will put a link to it in the description of this video. When it's available, it's probably already available by the time of this recording. So please check that out if you're interested in seeing more Dawn of Madness. But for us, we have come to the conclusion. I hope you enjoyed this entire huge epic playthrough of Dawn of Madness. If you did, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell symbol so you know when more videos come out. Also, please feel free to leave anything in the comment section below. I would love to hear from everyone. Have you had a chance to try this game? Are you planning to get a copy of this game? Or is this game just not your thing? It'd be interesting to hear what you have to say. If you're interested in supporting the channel, the link to the Patreon is also found in the description of this video. Those that have joined the Patreon are found here on the screen. Thank you so much for your patronage. It does mean the world to me. The perks that our Patreon supporters get is when we do our videos for our playthroughs, Colin and I give them a chance to watch them usually about a day or 2 ahead of time without commercial interruptions. Also, they do get a say in how we go forward with some of our games. So like I said, coming back in October, I may give my Patreon supporters a chance to decide which characters we're going to play as in our next playthrough. They did pick this character for this particular playthrough to play with, but since I'm a nurse, I thought I had to play with Emily because she's a nurse, so I had to see what it is. Or is she a nurse? I don't know. Maybe she was a patient all along. Thank you again for watching this playthrough of Dawn of Madness, and if you're excited to see what Colin and I have coming up next, then I need you to meet me at the table.